All right, everybody, we got to get back to the garden. That's what I'm talking about. I'll tell you. Love that song. Great album, by the way. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Welcome, everyone. So good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. Your time is the most valuable thing that you possess, and how you spend it and what you spend it on basically gives you your own value system. So it tells me that you are highly valued, especially here. So, that's a fact. So thank you. Thank you, all the moderators, everyone that participates in the chat. Thank you for the comments. It's an attitude of gratitude that'll get you always to your destination, no matter what the circumstance is. If you're at it and you're saying far fucking out, nothing wrong with that. It's part of our nomenclature today. So, it's almost become acceptable. Guess you could either look at the, what was the one, fornication under consent of the king? Okay, whatever. But seriously, if you have that attitude of gratitude, that every minute, every moment, it's going to be something you'll cherish. And now take the knowledge of who and what you are and what this thing is, write it, baby. That's all I got to say. Write it for all it's worth. So again, thank you, everyone. So good to see you. Speaking favor of us, over us all, nothing missing, nothing broken. Be of service to others, and you help the cycle get through. Yeah. So we be prospering all over the place and in your face, nothing missing, nothing broken. And wow, got a birthday. Happy birthday. Anniversary. Right back at you. And thank you for being on this part of the journey. The bus has left the station. Other people can get on because, we do the thing, the telepathic. You can be here and you can be there at the same time. Queen of Swords, how are you doing, my dear? Michelle, good to see you. Scotty Boy, Truth Seeker, Mary Wins, John Monk, good to see you. Sandy Scott, Favor, Lost in Space, what's up? Deborah Sloan, Matt Cal Perkins, what's up? And Shirley, good to see you. New Yoda, what's up as well? Zigzagzilla, how are you doing? Mary Wins, much love to you, darling. Arkin Buster, good to see you. Truth Seeker, go. A lot of people in. So again, thank you for stopping by. It's far out. So got a lot to cover here. So give me 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves and let me pull this up as he pulls it up. Da, 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 da. And there we go. So let me come over here. I'm over here now. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. So there it is in the sky. If you have a telescope, and if you kind of live more into like the northern part of the hemisphere of the world, this is in the western sky. It is about to fly by as close as it's going to. February 1st, I think that's it. So this is a green comet. Now, I've named it the Prosperity Comet because, and do your own research, comets, for the most part, in our culture for humanity, and for good reason, always was forbidding. It's like, oh, crap, damn comet. I remember, I believe it was in 96, 97, that two comets, same time. Remember Hale-Bopp, the split tail comet, saw Halley's Comet. But those comets were primarily, blue, and they have been associated with omens of, get ready on Earth. You're about to get your ass kicked kind of thing. But this one here is a little different. The true nature of itself, green, hasn't been one like this in 50,000 years. I often wonder, cheers, by the way, everyone. What was humanity 50,000 years ago? Always makes you think, huh? But anyway, for what it's worth, check it out. I call it the prosperity comet because, green is associated with that. And give me 1 second as I go over here, because I have this one, to get lined up next. So let me pull myself out of here. Hey, I'm back. So check it out. If you get a chance to see it in the Northern Hemisphere or wherever you are, look at it and realize I found one particular site that said the green comet, because they're so rare, is a sign that this one's in Aquarius, which is indication of newness of life, renewal, second chances, do-overs. Excuse me. So, yeah, man, hitch your horse up to that. That's worth hitching your horse up to. I mean, yeah. So by all means, let's do it. Troy, good to see you. What's up? Yeah. So, hey, I'm looking at the positive side because there's a lot of other crap. I mean, how'd you like the slide for this one here? Let me pull this one up, because I was doing some meditating and boom, this came into mind. And I thought, wow, this is really kind of true. If you look at it metaphorically, paradoxically, I don't know. There's a lot that you could do with that one. But hey, doesn't this kind of describe the reality? I mean, it's amazing how we get stuck to this reality. We have been taught to fear the death of the body because we fear that our minds aren't going to make it through, and we really don't understand how that happens and what happens. Next thing you know, you got others stuck just like you, and they're sharing the same ideas, you're sharing the same. In the meantime, there's this more and more of us getting stuck. Yeah. I mean, I think this really does represent humanity. If you think about it, folks, we really haven't changed much in 10,000 years. Maybe 50, I don't know. But then I began to think about thought. Thought may be the glue to the flypaper that keeps us stuck here. We get so entangled in thought, immersed into thought. And at the same time, we don't realize we're getting deeper and deeper more stuck. Yeah. Well, there's a hell of a visual for you. And now for the happy side of the street, right? But yeah, it's odd. Because it is thought. I mean, yeah, we have this thing of physicality, but we read earlier, what was it, on Monday, that, the body could lose a limb. It could have an interruption in the use of a limb. But in the long run, now, even if that's the case, your soul isn't going to be impacted anything. It's still here, still riding the bronc, ride that horse. But yeah, thought, by all definition, even reading everything that we have read, the soul is thought. Now, I don't know what the freeloader spirit is doing all this time, because I don't know. What is the spirit supposed to be doing? I mean, is the spirit supposed to be learning something? I mean, are spirits born dumbasses? I mean, that's my question. Is the soul just a dumbass? It's just when I mean by that, in not a derogatory, but you're just dumb. The reason why you're dumb is because you got no experience. It's not until, it's like falling in love. You got to go through the puppy love thing, man. And it sucks. I mean, Donny Osmond made a whole fortune talking, making song about, and we thought it was puppy love. Remember that song? Yeah. But the boy, does it teach you then afterwards? You begin to get real hip on this love thing. Yeah, it may seem all lovey-dovey and they can write about it all they want, but boy, you get your heart broken one time. So what's being broken here? Is it your soul? Is it your spirit? Again, it seems like the spirit's for this just a freeloader. They don't know what it's adding to the mix. You get so lost, stuck to the flypaper, that you go, well, they're one and the same. No, they're not. They're not. And no matter how you want to slice it and dice this with the Slice-O-Matic 2000, it's still going to come out the same. That's true. So, I mean, what is the spirit learning? We talk about it and we'll continue to talk about it because it is us. We're all in the world, and you got the money thing, you got the politics thing, you got the social thing, and then you got all the things that are in type of the things, and you can get so buried into the things that you are, in fact, just like that fly stuck to that fly paper. If you find yourself not able to accept another opinion, another argument, another criticism, might be because you're stuck. I mean, people call me a jerk, it's like, well, that's all right. Wear it with pride. Thank you very much. Been called worse. And, so what? And then you got people who say, love you. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Share the love. But anyway, I mean, I look at this and I go, all right, spirit, is the spirit this thing that I get this sense at times that I'm actually looking from that second person point of view? It's almost like you're looking down on yourself or through yourself. Does that make sense? There's so often that, you look in the mirror and it's amazing that what other people see is not always what you see. You see something different. Yeah, that gets, really weird. So, how are we supposed to do this? I mean, how do you create a foundation, a core set of beliefs? Well, there you go again, because there's that thing about experience, because you find out that your beliefs, if you're here long enough and experiencing enough, it's really going to be, well, just accept this as, however you want to take it. We could use the metaphor, the gospel, but that's a spell. People don't realize it. Godspell. Anyway, I digress. That your beliefs are most likely going to be wrong. So you got to leave a little bit of room in there, for like, oh man, crap, thought that was really something. Well, it was to you at the time. Yeah. So, well, thank you, Jackie. Right back at you, darling. Deborah Sloan, how you doing? Bonnie, good. How are you? Matthew, good to see you. Yeah, it's true, man. I wish it wasn't. And then again, stuck to this reality. Someone made the comment and said that it's interesting they had not thought. Of course, we get that a lot. It's like, well, I hadn't thought about that before. Hey, it's like, that's all right. We're all on the bus, the same bus. That's cool. But said, I'd never really given thought to that structure on the other side. Person said, I'd always relied on either, what others had said and what had been written. But as far as independent thought, what could that reality be? I don't think it's impossible for us to see. Talking between you and thee. You see? We'll rhyme that 3 times. Hey, Gilbert, what's happened, my brother? Good to see you, man. Genetically modified. Good to see you. House of Mirrors. Yeah. Ain't that the truth? It's freaking weird. Because I came to an intersection going, well, all right. Could I begin to build a construct that may have some semblance to these different dimensions? We can do it mathematically. So if we can do it mathematically, then I believe we can do it psychically as well. I mean, that's where the math comes from. So what would that structure be like? And the thought came to me, there's that thought again. Stacking out, got that crap all over me. Yeah. Okay. So if I could begin to build a construct, how would I do it? Well, at this stage in my life, I would come to the conclusion, well, not a conclusion, a point of being able to say, well, it appears to be real. Still debating the soul spirit, but hey, if I got both, far out. If I got just one, that's cool. But everything I know, at least over in this corporeal realm, is based upon really 5 senses. I believe I have more than that, because within those 3 chemical stimulations, which by the way implies that if I am receiving the data, the reality of this reality, which can be defined by 3 chemical, 2 electrical stimuli, well, if I altered either one of those, in other words, if the chemical, whatever the hell that alchemy is, and it's alchemy, what if I could enhance that chemical, that chemology, chemology, yeah, that's what I was trying to think. Well, that certain might have an impact on what reality is, at least my perception of it, and particularly this reality. They tell me it's in the 3rd dimension. Okay. I mean, I wasn't there when someone said, hey, I figured it out. You got the XYZ plane. Now, coming out of the computer post-production, that's what I sold, was graphic effects. And it taught me something about reality. Back in the day, we had one of the very first digital suites we used from a company over in England, Quantel. And back in the day, they made a paint box. They made the Harry suite. And the interesting thing about this, folks, is that because now that I look back on my experience, I'm going, this was all part of the training. Because when you take an image that is in real life and put it into video where you're actually just simply, it's all zeros and ones, But nevertheless, you lay down this signal. Now, back in the day when we used 1-inch tape, I started in the industry when they were using 2-inch tape. But really what we would do is that we would take the image and a composite of it and lay it down in a magnetic field that we called tape. And as I said, the idea was, the move, and I was a part of that move, was going from this analog form into the digital. Now, the interesting thing is that what it did is that it recreated reality within a digital framework. Well, if we can do that and do it with ease now, hell, we're up into the laser technology. It's Project Bluebeam is here. It's real. But still, getting back to the point, it's the same thing here. I don't know if at some point in our recent past, maybe we kind of fell into the back room, all of us. And we're just not realizing it. Because that's the interesting thing. Once you're in the digital domain, it's hard to define reality. Oh, yeah. I mean, we can be here. I'm sitting here, truth be known, I have no idea of what lies behind my vision, my peripheral vision. Now, I think I know what's out there because I've seen it before, but does it exist right now? For you, it doesn't. For me, there's a possibility, but for you, you don't have a clue. And then in that instance, you and I are living in two different perceptible forms of the same reality. Now, it becomes equally weird when I can see your name, Organic Intelligence. How are you doing? Snake Jones, what's up? Left it last year. Now that's cool. So, how many of you have ever looked into liminal spaces? You ever looked into that theory? And the conception is that you can only do it with the technology of digital technology of where we are in manipulation. Today, everyone knows the term, CGI. Well, we were back in the day when, we were actually defining and doing CGI. But my point is this: what if we have fallen into some plane of reality where we're in this liminal space of reality? We all have things that are familiar to us, and thus, because of the familiarity, we can actually begin to go forever within that set of familiarities. Getting stuck again on that flypaper. Yeah. So, anyway, it's a fun thought. I don't know, maybe not so fun, because it's a miss. I mean, we're living in a time, folks, that wow. It's like the movie The Lathe of Heaven. It's like, all right, am I the dreamer or am I the character in the dream? Because quite literally, all of you could be technically in my dream. I can see the names in the chat room, but I'm left to define how that name takes on a reality. It's weird, isn't it? And I have a sense that it's on the same way on the other side. Got a lot of requests for looking more into the book of Talking with the Dead. They're not dead. I mean, if that's how we've been taught, well, they've passed over. They have gone through the crystallization process and they are now on the other side. Okay, I dig that. But somehow they're still in this space, the spatial space. And it seems like, just saying for a friend, there's a hell of a lot of interest on that side as to what's going on this side. There seems to be a lot of circumstantial evidence, if not hard physical evidence, that they have made trips from the other side over into this side. So my point is, if they came to this side, they had to go back to the other side, which means that doorway is like that kitchen door. It swings both ways, baby. So why all of this like they've done with the goddess female? Well, we can't have her in the story because she'll screw it up, and so they eliminated that. But we've been taught, well, you can't talk to the dead. Well, like hell I can't, because here is the reality to that. I'm talking to dead people right now. I can look at your names, everyone that's in the chat room, and technically you're dead. You're looking at technically a dead guy, a dead me. I mean, if the future is the future and if the inevitability is the inevitability, then in one thought, if thought is eternal and thought continues, I've already made the transition, as you have. So my point in all this is that then why are we so freaking afraid of the other side? Now, I'll grant you there is a barrier, and I don't know what it takes. I mean, I really don't. I have, all the equipment that tells me if there is, I can get it by electromagnetic energy. I can get it by using, the spectrum of, excuse me, can we turn that down? A spirit box, those things. Let's see if anyone wants to talk to us. Anybody here today? Maybe not. But anyway, my point being, supposedly that this type of things using modern technology, the same thing. Oh, something's going on here. Even something as, simple as using, there we go. So are we seeing that connection? I mean, my SLS camera certainly picks up some interesting. It tells me that it's picking up anomaly over here. You go out into the woods and it starts picking up a lot of anomalies. And so what am I seeing? Well, is that magic? I don't know. It certainly is thought, though, isn't it? Yeah. So now organic intelligence, like if demons always look scary, how would they trick us? Don't want us scared to death. But the problem is with that, and I'm right there with you, because now in one of my out-of-body journeys, I mean, the group of spirit beings that I met were, well, I could define them as some of them being grotesque. Of course, that's what they said about me, that I looked grotesque. Many of them look at humans and see us as ugly manifestations. Told you that door swings both ways. And yet we get the idea somehow that angels are supposed to have these pleasant faces that appear to be ours, but it's not true. I mean, they give a description of them, and many of them are reptilian in nature. That's a scary thought. I mean, the Egyptians told us, about the guards of the underworld. Look at those headsets. So anyway, but getting back to this whole thing with demons. So, let me just give you a little bit of, come to Wayne's World, come into my world here and sit down, can I get you a drink, some hot tea, a beverage, whatever, So let's just sit down and got the fire going. If you're listening down this in Australia and Southern Hemisphere, well, you got the AC blowing. But let's talk about demons. Let's talk about angels as well. So here's the problem with that construct. They're playing for the same side. I mean, no matter how you want to define them, and if they're playing for the same side, because think about this, as I talked about yesterday, do angels and demons have souls? What the hell you mean? What? Well, I mean, if they have a memory, if they have ego, if they have identified personification of individuality, if they participate in groups, well, that sounds a lot like a soul to me. But let's get down into this. Are demons scary? Do demons want to trick us? And are they grotesque looking? Well, angels are pretty grotesque looking. I guess it's your point of view. I mean, I've seen some rather unattractive people, but they seem to find love. They seem to find someone. It's interesting. So the idiom that, beauty is only skin deep. I mean, no matter how good you're looking right now, no matter what your age, whether you be in the 20-somethings, 30s, 40s, here's the reality. It all falls. Just the way it is. Now, you can talk to your body, worship that temple, and tell it that it can rebuff the aging process, but you got to condition that. Just can't start doing it and say, okay. But anyway, I digress in that whole analogy. But if you think about it, in order for a demon to exist, it would mean that it's part of the Judeo-Christian belief system, what we call the Abrahamic. Now, the Hindus, they have a structure, demons, good guys, but yet they are all of the same party. They're just, that's what they were created for. It's what they do. It's why, explain to someone why you do what you do. Well, you do what you do because that's what you do. New word says, yeah. Every time I think of that, I think of, Neil Young and Harvest. Old man, take a look at my life. I'm a lot like you, 24, and there's so much more. Yeah. So anyway, so if the demon exists, then that means that he's a part of the union. Now, if it's a she demon, you know that she has a special card, because they have their own union. But it seems like the demons have the same union card as the angels. They just have different lodges. They're probably Lodge 405, whereof the angel demons of the house of yada yada yada. But when they're out in the field, jacking with us, which again gets back to that point, that other side can't be as that secure as it would seem, because they certainly seem, out of a whole freaking universe, how many other planets and other realities, why the hell are they here? I mean, are we the only game in town? Because they put a lot of damn effort in making sure that they got a spot here. All right, so getting back to them. So if they exist, the question is why? Why do they exist? I mean, why does an angel exist? What's their real purpose? So we've been taught, primarily again, through an illusion. And we made it fucking real. Well, that's the mind bender here. So no doubt on the other side, you're going to be tested. Count on it. Regrettably, most fail because they're not trained. They were never trained or equipped to pass the test. And what is the test? It's dealing with the creation that we've done collectively, that's been planted into your subroutine. It gets activated when a certain event happens to you. In this case, we call it death. And immediately that code kicks in. That's just my opinion from my reading, studying. So no doubt going to be some test. I think what I am perceiving it's to be is the realities, and they seem to have the ability to merge and coalesce because you carry that over. And if there is a defined structure of the other side, then that tells me there's rules, principles, most likely laws. And if all these creatures and these beings, angels, demons, gods, goddesses, if they exist because they're here all the time, we seem to have them, then that means they're over there. But the question then becomes, how many over there's are there? I mean, I got a sense when you're in that the best thing I called it was an exchange. Oof, it's big. Other people have seen it as well. It's huge, but I mean, we wouldn't fit in, for instance, this group particularly would not fit in. Imagine if you would, everyone. So everyone listening, imagine this. So we collectively, all of our thoughts, we have our individual, but we have formed this collective, and we suddenly find ourselves back in, let's get it real fun. We're in outside London in the year 1514. You know what they're going to do with a bunch of us three free thinkers? Yeah. We won't fit in. We wouldn't fit in even on the other side, which tells me that it seems like we carve out this subset of data and it projectiles us in. I mean, think about it. If you really meet an angel, right? All right. So they exist in this realm. Okay. Means they exist in the other realm. Okay. Well, again, it's buying into this system of complete duality. It's nuts. I don't know if there is such a thing as the El, the All, the Supreme. If the creator or created us exist, it means she's still creating. Creation never stopped, which means that you and I, we're merely a mark in this thing called creation. And hear me out, just hear me out. So creation could never stand still. It could never stop. It would be perpetual, ever creating. That's what it does. It wouldn't know any other existence. And if that's true, then I ponder and meditate upon the fact, so where do I fit in that creation? I'm a part of it, obviously. And here's the problem I have with reincarnation. Because that implies that creation is not creation. It was a fluke, an accident. Because all you and I discuss, and you hear it in the world, hell, I listen to these stations where they're praying to Jesus. And I'm thinking, okay, fine. But some of the idiocy that I hear, but I keep my mouth shut. But here's the point. If you believe in this reincarnation thing, then that says that creation stopped. No way creation could have continued. I don't see creation in a cyclatory fashion. It would mean that that's not creation. It means, again, it's a mistake. It's a repeating cycle that apparently can't be created again. I mean, y'all are as intelligent as I am here. What do you think? I mean, how do you define creation? If this is what we talk about philosophical topics here. We try to stay away from, the politics. Religion it's just a part of the fabric that you have to untangle from. We can get into the politics, but politics is a dark spell. That's a nasty type of magic. Yeah. Kind of defies exactly what we're talking about. In one aspect, we're told to believe one thing, but in reality, it's a completely different thing. True? So, getting back to the point here, your demons. I mean, I've got incantations. The thing about and I'm writing my own magic. I read a lot of what others do. Want to really give a shout out to these folks here. Where is this? These folks, I think you can find her on Etsy. It's Angelisa Designs Limited. Love these people. I've been reaching out to some of them, buying their products. And yeah, it's really cool. That's all I got to say. But getting back to where we are on this. So with this, and it's a trap. I mean, if I truly am this immortal being, and if this is my first time through, because again, if you're saying that you're going to come back again, then that's not creation. That would be the opposite. To go back into something is this merely death. There's no creative process in that. The creation has already taken place. It's moved. What was that Star Trek movie, Generations, with the ribbon? Yeah. Roddy McDowall was the one, Because why? He knew if he could get inside that ribbon that he'd live forever. Live in what his mind could create. Kind of get the idea, you skip the death thing. But yeah, it's like, yeah, sure. But again, explain to me how that works, because maybe I don't understand what creation is. I mean, it would seem like if you're saying that creation stopped at the Big Bang and everything else is just merely cause and effect, okay. It wouldn't be creation, though, because it's merely, what, a byproduct of creation? I mean, if creation is what it is, if there is a God, a goddess, a creator, a creatoress, however you want to define it, I don't see how they would get stuck in the past. I really don't. Been thinking about this. Why would they be stuck in the past? I mean, if this is the creation of all things, the first beginning of thought, you can't say then thought would become, stagnant or held within the boundaries of a set limited perimeter. I'm just talking. I mean, folks, want another cold one or another hot tea? Because I'm counting on seeing all of you. I'm counting on to seeing Carla, our friend Brian, the Jerry. There's so many that have already made that journey. And you get into this point that we're in this kind of a bubble, the moment of our creation. Now, if you say that creation is such self-perpetual in the aspect that it's always moving forward, but it has a consistent renewal aspect within a time period, because if we propagate with one another and thought and ideas in physical bodies, well, eventually you become left behind. Because why? The next generation is going to be different than the next generation, et cetera, et cetera. So that shows and defines that there's a pattern, that creation is never in the present or in the future. Maybe it's just consistently on the edge of something that we can't perceive as future, present, or past. And quite frankly, I wouldn't know how to relate to a being like that. I doubt that if that being is going to be playing a lottery of granting wishes or prayers, I doubt if it's really that into having people worship it. Why? I doubt if it's really into the blood thing, the death thing, the cannibalistic thing. Why? It seems like everything in this reality and this thought is tied to a foundation whose pillars are built upon a false narrative. The narrative only works if it stays within this realm, this reality. I don't see how it would work in an alternate reality. Again, I'm just, talking amongst all my friends here. Hello, how are you doing? I see past, present, and future as well happening at the same time in different frequencies. No such thing as time. And that's true. There is that element of time. Time is what makes this reality in this third dimension, the third dimension. Take away time, then what do we have? The complete absence of time. How would we define it? It's like creation. So we take these words so for granted, and we put so much assumption to it. Lynn and I were having dinner last night. We were talking, and I said, of all the preachers, I knew them all, all the national televangelists, all the big organizations, because that's what I did. I built the first mobile giving system. And I said, those people, as I look back now, said we were so lost. And I told her, I said, not one of those folks in the ministry would have anything to do with moi today. Why? Because, they think that I've lost my bloody mind. But actually what they don't realize is that I found freedom. I found freedom of being able to question even my own freedom, my own reality. And it's refreshing. I mean, at least that's my point of view. Again, so we're sitting down talking. He thought I forgot about this. Yeah, I did not. With demons being ugly. I mean, first of all, I have to ask myself, why would they have a face to begin with? I mean, if they're a spirit being, they don't need no physical form, baby. They're a spirit. All right. So if you can't answer that one, then you got to go back to square one again. I mean, if you really want to be very honest here, brutally honest, if you want to really say that you've ever seen a spirit, it would most likely show itself up as potentially an undefined mass. It may be spherical in nature. But if it's going to manifest itself, it's going to manifest through your reflection. You're going to go back and look at some Lewis's diagrams, images, sketches. I mean, there were some people out there, folks, and they were in realms that you and I probably wouldn't have a difficult time adjusting to. But yeah. But again, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if for instance, if you're Scandinavian, most likely you have blonde hair. Most likely blue eyes. I mean, it's kind of with that. I mean, if you're from the southern hemisphere, about where it's consistently hot, you're most likely going to have brown eyes. Reason for that. So if you have all these classes of demons, I mean, again, I'm trying to figure out, well, what's their template? I mean, how are they going to define? I always like the ones with jagged teeth. I say, you haven't been to a dentist in a while. Bacteria will eventually, you're going to have periodontal disease, gingivitis, and everything else. You want to learn to take care of those teeth. Yeah. Come on. I mean, that's my reality. That's what I would bring to the equation, into the conversation. Yeah. Now, I know this. For a human to have horns, literally horns, that's part of our genetic code. It was a sign for those back in the day that lived in a different time. Isn't that interesting? A different time, where it was a sign of wisdom. It said that Cain had the horn in the middle of his forehead, but then again, I wasn't there. I don't know. See, but you know what? Just by the fact that I can talk about it, and then I can see in my brain, in my spirit or my soul, how does that look kind of like the victim? You're going, what? Yeah, because we're all sketch artists. Let me just say, let me get someone lost in space. I'll talk to you. So describe for me right now, because I know there's about a 30-second plus delay. Tell in the chat room very quickly your description of an angel. What do they look like? Lost in space going to go, Why are you picking on me? But my point is, it's going to be what you've been taught it was. Now, I have been able to slowly reprogram myself, because when I hear the word demon, I translate, and then I communicate. Demon comes from daemon. Daemon means bright, shining being, divine. Okay. What happened? Lost in space. I ain't going to get into that. But so when someone says about demonology or demons, I'm going, all right, so, they lived on that side of the tracks. You bigot. You've already labeled them just because they live in a trailer. What? I mean, because you got a house and you got a swimming pool. You see, it's that kind of thinking. And if it's an angel, I got to go, what's your gig, man? Why are you coming in here into this realm? Now it says you've got all these special powers and what have you. So why the fuck are you wanting to give them to me? What's in it for you? Now I can call your name, and from what I now know, I can actually control you. I can actually bind you. I mean, is that what your gig is? Nah, because something about Hermetics, what we learned about this, I got no desire to bind, loose, control any spirit being, because that means I'm setting myself up to be controlled. And quite frankly, it pisses me off. I get on the other side and I find out which dickhead was jacking with me through my lifetime. I'm going to go and kick its ass. I don't give what the fuck there is a law over there. It messed with me when I wasn't perceiving it. You got an ass kicking coming and you can't run far enough. I'm coming for you, buddy. And I say the gender because apparently that's these individuals messing with us. Now, if a group of us like-minded people, we cross over, I'll guarantee the word's going to get out. Did you see this? We have a John Q coming in and, oh, shit, guys. Oh, man. Hey, you folks over there in Sector 4, he's pissed. And he's going to find out what you did to him when he was 31. He's coming for you, man. This whole thing. The biggest fear that they put into you in Christianity was that the demons would be over there and take you to hell. Well, if hell is existing, then it's an inside game. It's a con. And who the F does that demon think he is? I am sovereign. Don't you put your filthy hands upon me. I'm going to kick your ass, and when I get finished kicking your ass, I'm going to make an example of you. Well, they don't want to see that shit. Folks, we just got to get pissed off about this because, when I read a headline today that says Russia is seriously thinking about tactical field nukes, I have a dream where I'm seeing a freaking field and I see two of these candlesticks going off, others seeing the same thing. Man, someone's driving this rig of horses and they ain't showing themselves. I've tried to look at the buckboard. I can't. They got a damn screen up there. I mean, who's driving this? Woof. So, all right. Well, the previous rant was brought to you by one pissed off human, They're jacking with us. And getting back to the whole point. So this door, talking with the dead, communicating. If you pray, if you've ever prayed, you prayed to a dead God. And don't give me this nonsense, well, they exist over there, where then this is the death realm. Means you're dead. And that means you're a dead person praying to a live spirit that would be completely have nothing in common with you. I mean, why would you want to pray? Huh? Okay. Well, this was fun. Lots of good mind candy. This is coitus in the mental way. You bet you Mary wins, hon. You were right. That prayer thing. So you're praying for, it's always weird now when I think about it. Because if I have a prayer request, well, it's a request. I don't know if it's going to get answered. And then you get into these theological debates. Well, how to make sure God hears your prayer? It's the same thing in magic. I can get better and faster results using magic than I can anytime with prayer. Don't send me any of the hate mail. Ain't going to do any good. They're going, you see, I told you he's gone to the other side. Hey, Gina Roz, how you doing, my dear? All right, folks. Well, it's been a fun hour on this one for sure. Yeah, I'm like, you must great. I'm trying to figure out the part. So if I'm praying, what am I doing here? I mean, if I'm praying to an all-knowing being, my question is, why the fuck do you want me to beg you? I mean, that ain't no relationship. It would seem like you would have the wisdom to, have shown me I could have done it myself. I don't need the middleman. Okay. Our own match. Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, Gilbert, you're right. There's at least two sides to every story. Now, if you have, that cube thing going on, yeah, it's like it gets really complete. All right, folks, much kindness, much love to you. Thank you. Much healing be with you as well. I do enjoy our discussions. I mean, this is mentally stimulating. By the way, it's this kind of thought that actually keeps you young. It really does. And hell, we're all going to be stepping over the other side. We're still going to be young. I mean, I'm still that rock and roller that was, hair down the middle of his back and had a joint and all the time. I mean, it was cool. And I made it through, And I'm really digging the fact that I can meet with such people that have, the intellect, the ability to dive, and at the same time, laugh. Tells me you're all beautiful and you're all intelligent. And I think we've known each other before. I don't know. I'm just, message in a bottle thing. I don't know. Could be. All right. Look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow. Until we meet again, make it the best that you can at all times. All right. Thank you all.